Welcome to Karriem and Company, episode 5.
Hey man, it's good to be here.
Hey, tell me about it. Another episode. I'm sorry, that's episode 6.
Yes.
Episode 6 is getting away on this day, this weekend. Welcome to Karriem and Company, where we aim to bring you truth, information that you can use each and every day and apply to your life. Today we'll talk about the coronavirus.
Also, we'll talk about should a white president have a black agenda?
Also, we're going to bring to you different aspects of the pound cake speech. Remember that?
And we've got a little street knowledge to spit at you pertaining to Fred Hampton.
That's right. Today's Black History Fact. Join us more for this edition of Karriem and Company, episode 6, right after this. Well, welcome back, and thank you once again.
You got housekeeping rules?
Just a few housekeeping rules. Hey, press that like button, and we want to thank you for joining us. Tell somebody to tell somebody. Push that like button. We later upload on YouTube, so check us out, and please subscribe there. And
it's very, very important that we reach as many
of
our brothers and sisters as possible. When I say brothers and sisters, that's not by color barrier or design, but as many people as possible so that we can do more things.
Absolutely.
The more likes you hit, the more things we can do.
So jumping right into today's topic, the coronavirus, or COVID-19 as it's politically called now.
If you've noticed, ran out of toilet paper in a lot of areas, ran out definitely bleach, sanitizer, and a general panic is going on amongst the 8 major universities right here in the state of Mississippi and all across the country. They're rearranging schedules, and some are even closing.
But one has to question. I mean, we've talked last week about the swine flu, H1N1.
Right.
We talked about the bird flu.
Ebola.
We talked about SARS.
Legionnaire's disease.
We talked about MRSA.
And just a whole plethora.
Yeah. So we have to wonder and be mindful of the political push and pull as well as the economic push and pull behind all of this.
But on the flip side of it, now the Chinese are saying that it was brought into their country by the Americans, who had some games and had deliberately sent some effective athletes into their country. The ploy was to slow down their economy. And so a lot remains to be seen about that. Also, the current president, Donald J. Trump, has been in contact with infected persons
from Brazil.
The president of Brazil, the press secretary of Brazil, and one other had dinner with him at his estate at Mar-a-Lago.
Right.
And he don't want to be tested. He says it's nothing. He says it's not necessary. We'll see. We'll see in the upcoming hours and days.
If you're just joining us with this show, you're tuned in live to Karriem and Company on this weekend's version. This is episode 6. Welcome, Rashida Shelton, Brother Cunningham. Thanks for watching. Hey, tell somebody to tell somebody as we jump right in. Now, there is a plausible theory that vaccinations make a lot of money.
Right.
Vaccines make a lot of money.
Right.
As you know, Bill Gates is now the driving force behind vaccines as he inoculated a lot of people in Africa, namely women, some to the tune of 435,000 that were sterilized.
Wow.
So there is an economic push and pull. We see the grocery stores running out of food, toilet paper.
But let me stick a pin right here.
Go right ahead.
The commodification of the whole healthcare system one of the things that America is suffering from as far as it relates to any kind of health pandemic is that the health system has been so much commercialized until they have a shortage on everything. A shortage on hospital beds, a shortage on respirators, a shortage on tests currently right now, because America's current healthcare system has been based totally on you pay as you go.
Absolutely, and we talked about that earlier, about how the athletes of the NBA have been tested, where tests are not afforded to other people, as well as 60% of America's thriving income comes through and by way
of the
healthcare system.
So you go figure. If it's so hard to get a test, how is it so easy for them to get one? If they have a shortage on tests, the answer is very clear, because it has everything to do with commodification. Your sports figures, no matter how high they're paid, they're still property, $1 million slaves, if you will.
Right.
But they were somebody's property. They wanted to see was the merchandise damaged, and by any means necessary, they got them some test kits. Discovered that 2 players from the Utah Jazz were tested positive, which led to the NCAA tournaments being terminated for this season, the whole NBA being terminated for this season, as well as we get into baseball season, no spring practice, which you can just safely say it's going to be no Major League Baseball, so on and so forth. So life is going to change as we know it. How does this affect the black community? Well, when you're in poor and underserviced areas, it's going to be worse for health care, worse as far as identifying whether or not you have coronavirus, and unless someone who is caring, monitors, steps up to the situation, speaks up and speaks out about whether or not we are properly getting the health care. Because listen, according to the facts and figures, you're going to have 1.9 million people infected in the United States of America before they can even get a cure, which is at the least 18 months away.
You know, and what you're saying is very alarming. I heard some statistics that say more so than even the flu, that this, the contagious outcome of COVID-19 is it affects 1 to 5 people, whereas the flu on average affects 1 to 3.
Right.
So the outbreak is even more. But something you said that I want to just go back to, you said something about how does this impact the African American community? And I'm talking about the people who are wage workers every day, that can't afford to take off.
Yeah, because with this you've got collateral damage.
That's right.
And the collateral damage is this. Children are going to be out of school, college students are going to be out of school, service-oriented jobs and service-oriented production is going to be down or either nil, which means none, and that's going to affect people's livelihood. It's also going to affect the way that people get food stuff, the way they get nourishment, the way that children eat in terms of having lunch, before school lunch or during school lunch. So I would give it, in our immediate area, which we're broadcasting from Mississippi, I would say within the next 2 weeks, we're going to see some dramatic collateral damage effects from what's going on nationwide with the coronavirus.
So does this help or hurt the economy or the re-election of Donald J. Trump?
Well, I think, number one, this undermines his major plank of which he was standing on, which was the economy. That was his major number one plank. And before the coronavirus hit, even if you had people or persons that did not like Donald J. Trump, they were going to vote their pocketbook. That they had a job, that unemployment was tremendously down, hadn't been so low within the last 21 years. And some of them benefited from the tax breaks depending upon what kind of deductions that they could charge or how many children that they had. But since this is being all wiped away, with the coronavirus comes economic ruin practically. The country, they won't admit it, is already in a recession, and with a bull stock market, the stock market has just totally wiped away all of the gains that were gained since the Trump administration. So that's not going to go to his benefit because now he has a dislike. Also, as far as him handling the situation, there's a lack of confidence with the American public in terms of how he's handling the situation, saying that, oh, it'll just go away, being nonchalant, acting like a little kid when people take their health and their health concerns very, very seriously.
Well, this is the portion of that show where we got to pay some bills. Hey, we've got a friend that has a great idea. His name is Roy Hicks.
And we appreciate you, Roy Hicks, if you're tuning in.
He's got a ministry called
Yes We Can.
And Cans for Kids. A great idea where Loose Change serves to send a kid to college or to technical school. And you need to get with him. Talk to him. Join him in his efforts.
I mean, I think that's a very, very positive force in terms of promoting education amongst our community. A lot of people don't go to college because of economic reasons.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot of brilliant minds that are wasted just simply because they feel that they can't afford to go to college.
Talk to him, 662-889-7372.
That number one more time, 662-889-7372. Mr. Roy Hicks, give him a call.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Also, if you have a ringing sensation in your ear,
or if you have been in the military service between the years of 2013 and
2003.
Well, excuse me, 2003 and 2015.
That's right.
Used an earplug device, then there's a cash settlement waiting for you, but you'll never receive it unless you apply for it. And the ringing in your ear is called tendonitis.
That's right.
And you need to come by and see us.
And let us do something for you.
Yeah, you can stop by 708 15th Street North right here in Columbus, Mississippi. Give us a call, 662-491-1683 or 662-435-3732. Karriem and Company will help you, and we'll help you get that cash award.
I want to welcome our listeners once again to the show, Karriem and Company, where we're talking just information that's pertinent to you.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking truth to power.
Been talking about the coronavirus.
And now we are going, with the time that we have allotted, we're going to talk about the black agenda. And I don't mean this in a bad way, but I just want to set this out for people to think. Does a white candidate or white presidential candidate, should he have a black agenda?
Yes, and especially if he's soliciting black votes.
Okay.
And that's one of the problems that the Democratic Party has presented down through the years. Black people have been pimped for free. Just because we're embraced and accepted in these churches, in our rallies, and the gatekeepers are soft shoeing with white folks. Well, we'll go back to our people, our Klansmen, our villages and our communities, and we'll say, you need to vote for so-and-so. But ever since the Lyndon Baines Johnson Goldwater presidential area, we have not received anything for our vote. No more than just a few people at the top benefiting and lining their pockets by the particular white candidates to use their influence upon their own people. Case in point, in 1963, the March on Washington, we was marching for what? Jobs and justice.
Yep.
Okay. Now it's 2020, and what we have and what we need to do. We still need what? Jobs and justice.
So why should someone else do for us what we can do for ourselves?
And then, since we're talking about the black agenda, and I got to key in on this because of the death of Nathaniel Woods, but no presidential candidate, no Democratic presidential candidate has even mentioned about the mass incarceration problem that's in this country, that America has almost 3 million prisoners, the majority of them for nonviolent crimes, the majority of them, 81 to 91% black. And nobody's even speaking about it, of how this is collateral damage, how it's impacting and affecting lives and how it's destroying the lives of many families right here in America.
Let's open that up a little bit, because the African American population is only 14, some statistic says 13%
Of the whole total American population.
of the American population. And with that in mind, we house over 25% of the world's population. America is only 5% of the world's population. However, African American men and women make up 47% of the incarceration population. Something's wrong with those numbers.
And that's because it's done strictly on race, and it's done on economic disadvantage.
And laws that disenfranchise people. Michelle Alexander put it so eloquently in her book about how laws are made to trap people. Now, they call them laws, but I call them codes, because we both know laws never change. But these codes are set into place and into policy to put it's a form of social control.
But here's what's sad to say. This country is so racist at its core, whether you're Democrat or Republican, nobody wishes to mention the judicial reform agenda, the criminal justice system itself, or the incarceration system, because they're afraid that if they make that as one of their agendas, that they won't get elected to be president of the United States.
Well, while we have that open, let our viewers know that there's currently a lawsuit that you have going.
Oh, yes.
That a lot of people are not privy to.
Right. And this lawsuit, of which has been filed, and right now it's in the U.S. Court of Appeals, and as it relates to voting rights and incarceration in the state of Mississippi, where people have been incarcerated, have done their time, and still unable to get their rights back in terms of being a human being and still being treated as a second-class citizen. This affects approximately 150,000 to 200,000 Mississippi residents.
And this is a 1890 law that was put into place?
In the 1890 Constitution, challenging the 1890 Constitution, Mississippi's 1890 Constitution of disenfranchisement, illegal slavery, and then once you have paid your debt to society, the violation of double jeopardy laws in terms of being constantly discriminated against, not being able to obtain a job in the workplace, not being able to vote once you've paid your debt to society.
So you become a second-class
second-class citizen, which is unconstitutional and against the Constitution of the United States of America.
So let us know what exactly is transpiring and how the developments are taking place in this lawsuit.
Well, the American Civil Liberties Union has combined with other organizations to join into this lawsuit. Right now it's in the Federal Court of Appeals. If it wins there, if it's challenged, it'll go to the U.S. Supreme Court. If we lose there, we'll still take it to the U.S. Supreme Court in honor and in defense of all of the former inmates who have served in not only Mississippi, but in 17 other states in this country where they are all being treated as second-class citizens.
Can you tell our viewers how they can read about this or get more information if they want to get involved?
Just simply put in Kamal Karriem, USA Today, because it's been in USA Today. It's been in some of the major newspapers, but just simply Google Kamal Karriem, Kamal Karriem. That lawsuit will come up versus the state of Mississippi in terms of voting rights and second-class citizenship for either ex-felons, which I hate that word, or former inmates.
Mm-hmm. Once again, it's time to pay a few more bills. We want to talk about Helen's Kitchen, 708 15th Street North.
The original home of the $5 lunch menu.
That's right, and that's how you eat good in the hood.
Right. And so you need to come check out the specials. If you're ever in the Mississippi area, in Columbus, Mississippi, you need to come in. We're open from 6 to 5, Monday through Friday, and open on Saturdays from 6 to 12 noon, where we do breakfast only. Closed on Sunday. That's Helen's Kitchen, where soul food cooking comes straight from our mama's kitchen, and it's coming straight to you.
Absolutely. Well, with the time we have remaining, I just want to briefly, do you want to do Fred Hampton or you want to talk about the pound cake speech?
You know, Fred Hampton really has been on my mind.
Okay.
And for those of you that are not familiar with Fred Hampton was a deputy chairman in Illinois for the Black Panther Party. One of the amazing things about Fred Hampton was his ability to organize at such a young age. At the time of his death, believe it or not, he was only 21 years of age. Mm-hmm. Only 21 years of age. And had been affiliated with the Black Panther Party for several years. So he started out speaking truth to power, very good, eloquent speaker, struggling for freedom, justice, and equality, also liberation theology. These are the things that he preached in Chicago. Now, one of the things that terrified the FBI, the reason why he was assassinated was because Fred Hampton was about to join the Black Pea Stone Nation mm-hmm. and the disciples with the Black Panthers under another umbrella as an organized wing. He was assassinated in May of 1969. I want to say it's May 4th of 1969, while sleeping in his bed.
In his home.
Now, they have recently, in recent years, said it was a wrongful death, a murder or assassination, if you will. The city of Chicago paid his descendants, Fred Hampton Jr., he has one son for his namesake, but paid that family $1.5 million, which is a very, very small token to pay for such a brilliant mind and a brilliant life that was assassinated and lost way before its time.
You know, I want to just share something right here for those who really don't know about the Black Panther Party for self-defense. Way before WIC, there were food programs, there was lunch and breakfast.
They were the first ones doing that.
Serving to school-age kids.
Matter of fact, the idea came from them.
Daily in the neighborhoods, they had grocery giveaways.
Free medicine.
They had employment operations where people could find jobs. Mm-hmm. They had protection in the community, especially for those walking to and from work being harassed by police.
And without the concepts of the Black Panther Party, the Black Pea Stone Nation, and the disciples, there would have been no Operation Breadbasket, no Operation Push, because these are the militant arms that went with Jesse Jackson, his brother Noah Robinson. They circled these places of which he went in and negotiated for blacks to be hired in these places. They were the strong arm that circled these companies to ensure that justice was done and that our people could get some work.
Tell us why you felt that this is relevant for today's youth and for people who don't know about Fred Hampton.
Because by him being so young, listen, nowadays, what is the average 21-year-old, what is our average 21-year-old doing? I'm talking about en masse. I know we've got people in college, we got some in the workforce, but I'm talking about the majority of our 21-year-old men, if they're not incarcerated, they're in the street, they're in the life, they're trying to sell drugs. It's a celebratory thing of which they've been deceived by the music. One of the reasons why I wanted to bring Fred Hampton up to the forefront, because number one, to be so young, he was so courageous. Number two, he understood the seriousness of our plight in terms of freedom, justice, and equality, and he understood also the injustices that black people, not just only in America but all over the world, were suffering. And then number three, he also understood not only the physical war front and the attacks and the vicious attacks by the police and by the FBI and other law enforcement, but the economic attack that we was under and the educational attack that we're under and still under. And so I just thought that bringing this to the forefront, I know we've got a lot of 8th graders that watch us, and shout out to Mr. K's class, the 8th grade class. We've got a lot of young people that are hungry for knowledge, that don't know about these things. And certainly it's not enough time to talk about Fred Hampton. But if you get a chance, Google Fred Hampton, Black Panthers and read all about him, his plight, how he was murdered, how his family was compensated, and the things going on that relate to him today.
One of the things that stands out about Fred that is often spoken of today, and Dr. King even touched on it, he made reference to extreme militarism in terms of the police brutality, poverty, and the political climate, which tend to keep Black people at bay.
Also, forcing America's residents into foreign wars for economic gain.
Yes.
That has nothing to do with terrorism threat, has nothing to do with even patriotism, but you've got 1% of the 99, which makes 100, but the 1% of the wealthy to protect their interests, whether it's oil, whether it's uranium, whether it's diamonds, because war is the extension of negotiations that's gone bad, politics has gone bad. And so innocent people are going to fight in the name of patriotism, but it's not in the name of patriotism, it's in the name of wealth and greed.
Well, big brother, guess what?
Well, no, don't tell me. We out.
Time is up. And
Yeah.
look here, we want to thank you for joining us today.
Can I just say something real fast?
Say something real fast.
We need your support. Please, a donation would be nice. If you can send us one, 708 15th Street North, Karriem and Company, drop us a donation. You got questions, calls, comments, you give us a call, 1-662-435-3732 or 1-662-491-1683, or email us. Give your email, man.
That's mindfulness365.com@gmail.com. That's mindfulness365@gmail.com. I'd like to hear your comments, concerns. Hey, share them with me. One other thing I'd like to say, and send some shout outs or some love to Miss Hodges,
Geneva Hodges?
Demetrius Hodges.
Demetrius, yeah.
And Brother Ronald, all the way from Alabama. Thank you for checking in. And look here, tell someone to tell someone. You can also get the rebroadcast on YouTube. Subscribe, and hey, hit the like button.
And if you missed those episodes, you can catch up on them.
1 through 6.
1 through 6. You can catch up on YouTube. Don't forget to hit that like button.
Absolutely. As we continue to impart light, facilitate vision,
speak truth to power,
fuel empowerment, and always inspire action. Until next time.
Thank you.
Karriem and Company. Thanks a lot.